Hello dear viewers, welcome to TV Mathshub. This is your study pattern for competitive exams. Here you will find different questions, clear solutions, and the guidance you need to succeed. Subscribing is completely free. It is just your way of appreciating our work and supporting the channel. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and let's learn together. Hello dear viewers, welcome to TV Mathshub. In our today's session, we shall be handling item number 2 for UCE Mathematics paper for 2025. This is the paper that has been recently done by the senior 4 candidates, and it means for those that are already in senior 3, that are already in senior 2 and senior 1, and even those that have simply done this paper, this video will be helpful in helping you to know what best responses were required for each of the items. We have already handled item number 1, and in case you haven't watched the video for item number 1, please check our previous videos or check in the description for this same video. So today we want to handle item number 2. And before we come to item number 2, it is important to know what topics or what areas are considered under item number 2. Under item number 2, that is the item which comes from what we call the patterns and algebra. And under this, you expect to have topics that are covered there, like sequence and patterns, equations of lines and curves. You can meet questions on algebra 1 and 2. You can meet questions on mappings and relations, vectors and translations, inequalities and regions, equations of straight line, simultaneous equations, quadratic equations, then composite functions, and some other questions to do with linear programming. Then plus something to do with locus. So these are some of the topics. However, not all these areas here will be considered in this item. So for our item here, we shall need to see which actual topics are considered. So let us look at item number 2. Item number 2 is basically about Jalia's farm, which Jalia's farm will be involving solving simultaneous equations and unitary methods in real life context. So this question generally was testing the ability of the student to form equations from a real life situation, solving them systematically, and interpreting results correctly. So that is basically what was required in this item number 2. So let us go through the item. The item says Jalia has a cattle section and goat section on her farm. She employed a farm manager, and according to the farm manager's records, each worker in the cattle section takes care of 50 heads of cattle, and each worker in the goat section takes care of 30 goats. The farm has a total of 310 animals in the farm in both sections. Each worker in the cattle section is paid this amount per month, and each worker in the goat section is paid 100,000 per month. So a total of this amount is spent on paying workers every month. So Jalia needs help to determine the number of workers in each section of the farm using the manager's records. So when you look at this paragraph here, from this given point up to what we need first of all to help Jalia in determining the number of workers in each section of the farm using the manager's records. So basically we shall answer this in parts. So that is one part which needs us to help Jalia in determining the number of workers. So we can first deal with that using this information given. Then, according to the tasks, you realize that you need to help Jalia to determine the number of workers in each section of the farm. So we shall first of all use this information before we come to this information. Otherwise, when you do all the things at once, you might get lost. So let us first deal with one paragraph at a go. So we shall need first of all to help Jalia determine the number of workers in each section of the farm. So let us basically look at some possible information from what we have read. Now, we are having two groups, that is the cattle and goats. And you are told how many animals one worker takes care of in each section, plus how much each worker is paid. So basically, we need to find the number of workers in each section, and those are two unknowns. So it means it will call for simultaneous equations. So how best shall we do this? We shall first of all let, since it is involving unknowns, we shall first of all let x to represent let x be the number, let x be the number of workers, let x be the number of workers in the cattle section, in the cattle section. Because we have workers in the cattle section and we also have workers in the goat section, which number is not known. So y be the number, let y be the number of workers, let y be the number of workers in the goat section, in the goat section. So these are the two sections we are dealing with, this one and this one. Now, from there, we need to form equations. So next, we shall look at forming the equations. Now, first of all, we have records from the animals. So we have from the animals records, from the animals records, what do we have? From the animals records, let us get back to the question. We are saying, according to the manager's records, each worker in the cattle section takes care of 50 heads of cattle, and each worker in the goat section takes care of 30 goats. So, and the farm has the total of this. So, if each worker takes care of 50 heads of cattle, each worker, and we are having the number of workers as X. So how many workers will be in total taking up for all the animals? So here we are told we have X workers, we have X workers, but each worker takes care of 50 cattle. So it means the total number of animals that will be taken care by X workers will be same as getting 50 times X. At the same time, we are told that each worker in the goat section takes care of 30 goats. Each worker in the goat section. But we are saying we have Y workers in the goat section. So if we have Y workers in the goat section and each worker is taking care of 30 goats, then what will be the total? The total will also be 30. The total will also be 30 times Y. That is the total number of goats that will be taken care by Y workers. And this should be equal to the total number of animals that are on the farm, which is same as 310. So here we shall have 310. So this will be the total number of animals in the cattle section. This will be the total number of animals in the goat section. And in total, we shall have all of them equaling to 310. So from here, we can have this as 50x plus 30y, which is equal to 310, which we can try to simplify by dividing through by 10. And this will be 5x plus 3y, which is equal to 31. And this we can call it equation number 1. Next, we shall try to look at the amount now, because we are told each worker in the cattle section is paid this. Each worker is paid 150 in the cattle section. So let us now again look at from the payment records. So next, let us talk about from the payment records. So from the payment records, from the payment records, we shall have, we are told that each worker in the cattle section is paid 150,000. But how many are they? They are X workers. So how much will all of them be paid? It will be same as 150 times the number, which is X. Then again, each worker in the goat section is paid 100,000. Each worker in the goat section is paid 100,000. So if we want to know the total amount which is paid to Y workers, we shall get 100, we multiply by Y. But altogether, they take a total of 950,000. So which means when you get the total amount paid to the workers in the cattle section plus the total amount paid to the workers in the goat section, in total you get 950,000. So from here we can as well have this as 150,000 X plus 100,000 Y, which is equal to 950,000. Now from here, let us divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 10,000. If we divide by 10,000 first, we shall be able to get 10,000 here. We shall remain with these 4 zeros will cancel. We remain with 15x plus this will be 10y, which will be equal to, we are dividing through by 10,000. This will be equal to 95. But still, we can also divide through by 5. It is divisible by 5. So this will give us 3x. This will give us 3x. 3x plus 2y. 3x plus 2y, which is equal to, we get 95, we divide it by 5, that will be same as 19. So this will be equation number 2. So accordingly, we have two equations. Remember, our interest is to know the number of workers, that is x, and to know the number of workers, that is y. So our interest is to know the number of workers on the farm. That is the value of x and the value for y. And looking at what we have two equations. We have two equations where we have this equation and this one here. And our interest is to get x and y. So to do that, we know how to solve simultaneous equations. So these are simultaneous equations which we can now solve. So we shall now say solving simultaneous equations. Solving equations 1 and 2 simultaneously. Solving equations 1 and 2 simultaneously, we shall have so let us again try to have our equations. 5x 3y is equal to 31. 5x plus 3y is equal to 31. We also had another equation which was 3x plus 2y is equal to 19. So that is basically what we have. So from here, I want us to use elimination method. So let us use elimination method here to solve these two equations. So let us use elimination method. So to use elimination method, we can eliminate x or y. So we can eliminate any. For example, if we want to eliminate x, we make sure the coefficients are the same. We make sure the coefficients are the same. And for that case, it means you will multiply here 3, you multiply here 5. When you do that, you will have 15x plus 9y, which will be equal to 3 times 31. This will give us 93. Then next, we shall have 15x here plus 10y, which will give us 19 times 5, and that is 95. So from there, let us eliminate x. The coefficients are the same, and the signs are also the same now. So if the signs are the same, we subtract. So from here, we shall have this as 0. This will be 0. 9y minus 10y will be negative y, and this will be equal to negative 2. So here, it will give us y as 2. So after getting y as 2, we shall substitute. So we shall substitute y equaling to 2 into one of the equations. For example, let's say equation number 1. So equation number 1 was saying 5x plus 3y is equal to 31. So it means 5x plus 3 times 2 is equal to 31. So this will give us 5x plus 6 is equal to 31. Then 5x is equal to 31 minus 6. So 5x will give us, this will be 25. So divide through by 5. This will give us, divide through by 5. This will give us x as 5. So basically, from there, we have the value for x. We have the value for y. So let us now answer the question. We were told to obtain the number of workers in each section of the farm. So from here, we can give the conclusion. We can give the conclusion that therefore the number of workers in the cattle section is so cattle section, it was taking which variable? Cattle section was taking x, so it means is 5 workers. So we have 5 workers in the cattle section, and the number of workers in the got section is 2 workers. So we have only 2 workers in the got section. So basically that means that our part A will be answered. So let us look at how best now we can answer part B. So next we need to move to part B, and to answer part B, then we shall start our paragraph from here. So they are saying the records also show that for the past 3 months, the manager has been selling milk to customers at a constant wholesale price as indicated in table 1. This is table 1, which is indicating months, milk, and amount paid. Then the manager has informed her that the firm is likely to produce 135 liters for sale at wholesale price next month. Jalia needs assistance to use the sales records to form an equation that she should use to determine the amount of money to be paid by any customer who buys any quantity of milk at wholesale price. So it means we basically need to get equation that will be relating the amount of money to be paid by any customer and the quantity of milk that will be bought at any wholesale price. Now, we are having our task for part B. 1 is to form an equation that she should use basing on the records and state the constant wholesale price of each liter of milk. Then 2 is to calculate the amount of money she is likely to receive from the sale of milk next month. So remember, the manager has informed her that the firm is likely to produce these liters next month. So we need the amount that would be corresponding to 135 liters of milk. So let us look at this given question. So we are having, basically we are looking at part B. So this is the part we are looking at. Now, we are given the table. And if I can have the table here, we are having the months. We are having the milk, which is in liters. We are having the amount, which is in shillings. So the first month we have 100 liters, and that is 150,000. In the second month we have 80, and the amount is 120,000. In the third month we have 120, and this is 180,000. So that is the information we are having. So we are simply interpreting this table here. Now, from what we are having, we are told that the farm sells milk at a constant wholesale price per liter. That is what we are told. So next we need to also find that constant term. So let us first of all see if in the first month 100 liters were sold at this amount. What does that one imply? So let us look at the price per liter. First of all, for the first month, for the first month, for the first month, 100 liters were sold. 100 liters were sold at 150,000. Were sold at 150,000 shillings. Now, what does that imply? It means 1 liter was sold at 150,000 divided by 100, and this will give us this and this and this. That is 1,500. This is shillings per liter. So this will be shillings per liter. So it means each liter was sold at 1,500 shillings. That is for the first month. So if we look at the second month, for the second month, we want to get the picture or the relationship between the liters of milk sold and the amount. So for a second month, the price per liter will be, so 80 liters were sold at this. So it means price per liter will be same as getting 120,000. You divide it by 80. So when you get 120,000 divided by 80, 120,000 divided by 80, what do you get? You also get 1,500. This shillings per litre. So each litre was also sold at this amount. When we also talk about the third month, what picture does it give? What would be the price per litre? The price per litre would be 180,000 divided by 120. When we get 180,000 divided by 120, you also get 1,500. This is a shillings per litre. Meaning, as we can see, the constant price per litre was actually 1,500 shillings. Now, from this, we need to form the equation that will be relating the amount paid and the litres of milk sold. That is what we need to form. So part one, we need to form an equation she would use basing on the records and state the constant wholesale price of each litre of the milk. So that is basically what we need to do. So we need to state the constant wholesale price of each litre. So according to what we have seen, we should be able now to tell the constant wholesale price of each litre. So the constant wholesale price of each litre, as we have seen so far, you realize here it was that amount, it was this amount, it was this amount. So we can easily say the constant wholesale price for each litre is 1,500. When we get the relationship between litres and the amount here, this with that, this with this. So we shall be able to get that. So next, we need to get the equation that is relating the two. So to get the equation that is relating the two, we shall also now we shall say next we are forming the equation relating the amount paid and the number of litres sold. So we need now to say, what if you have, if A is the amount, if A is the amount paid, and L is the number, of litres of milk sold. Then can we come up with the equation relating milk and the amount? Now it is clear that we have so far seen that this is the constant amount for each of the litres. So this is the amount paid per litre. So it means if I have A as the amount paid and L is the number of litres, so it means the total amount that will be paid for L litres will be same as A, equaling to 1,500 times L. Because you can see that if A is the amount and L is the number of litres, remember each litre is 1,500 shillings. So if each litre is this, then how many or how much amount will be paid for L litres? So the amount that will be paid for L litres will be same as 1,500 times L. Okay, because each litre is 1,500. So if I have L litres, then it means the total amount that will be paid will be same as A, which is equal to 1,500 times L, which means this will give us A as 1,500 L. So that will be the equation that will be required, or the equation that will relate the amount paid and the number of litres of milk that is sold. So that will be answered. So let us try to answer part 1 correctly. So we shall say therefore, so the equation was, form an equation she should use basing on the records and state the constant wholesale price of each litre of milk. So far we have seen that the constant price for each litre is 1,500, and we have seen the equation relating the amount paid and the litres will be A, which is equal to 1,500 times L. So clearly we got that one from the fact that each litre was sold at 1,500. So it means if I have L litres, then the amount that will be paid will be A, and that A will be same as 1,500 times L. So from there, we want to give the general conclusion that therefore the equation is A, which is equal to 1500 L, and the constant wholesale price of each liter of milk sold is shillings 1500. And that part 1 will also be answered. So part 2, they are saying calculate the amount of money she is likely to receive from the sale of milk next month. Remember, next month he wants is likely to produce 135 liters for sale at that wholesale price as well. So it means we need the amount that corresponds to 135 liters. So for part 2, so B part 2, we shall say from A, which is equal to 1500 L, we are given that next month is likely to have 135 liters. So it means L will be 135 liters. So what will be the corresponding amount? The corresponding amount is 1500 times 135 liters. And this will give us the total amount, which is 202 and 500. So that is 2,500. So from there, you also need to give the general conclusion that therefore the amount of money she is likely to receive from the sale of milk next month is shillings 202,500. And that will be the end of our item number 2. So basically, according to what we have so far looked at, here is what the examiners basically were looking for in this question. You need to look at the correct definition of variables. You need to have the logical formation of equations, consistent algebraic solving method. You either use substitution method or you use elimination method. Then proper interpretation of rate and total, especially in part 2. So part 2 is basically about proportions. So this is proportionality. And basically, it was also important to identify the total pay from the given information and try to relate it with the given information. So basically, that is all about item number 2. And that's it for today's lesson on UCE Mathematics 2025 question 2 or item number 2. If this explanation helped you to understand how to form and solve real life equations, make sure to like the video, subscribe, share it with your classmates. I am TV and I'm always here to help you master mathematics in the smart way. See you in the next video as we tackle item number 3.
Yeah.